Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gabo the Shaman, and today we're talking about what happens when we have Mars placed in the 4th house in Cancer for the Aries Ascendant using Vedic Astrology. So this placement is a really key placement for Aries because it's basically talking about your Lagnesha, meaning that your Mars is your Ascendant Lord, so that means it rules Aries, and it's placed in the 4th house. So, before I get into all that good stuff, just thought I'd let you know that I have a bunch of stuff to offer over here, so you can check them out, and even down here. I do have my astrology course on sale now, so you can pick that up. It's an astrology certification course, and yeah, it's really an awesome thing to check out and all that good stuff if you want to learn about astrology. Also, I have my astrology readings for sale right now, so just that I'd let you know so you can help me out, pay my bills, and all that good stuff so that I'm not completely broke. Because this is my full-time business, so. Alright, so let's get into it. Cancer, sorry. Mars in Cancer in the 4th house. Okay, for Aries Ascendant. So, we have a bunch of things to talk about. We have 3 things in particular, and they're all different energies, although, yeah, so, but we have Mars, we have Cancer, and we have the 4th house. So, anyway, let's get into it. So, first of all, let's talk about Mars. So, Mars is the warrior. He's the soldier, the warrior that goes into battle and wants to conquer and succeed and has all this energy, vitality, and virility, to, just, it's like it's like, sorry, masculine energy. It goes into battle and it fights and it conquers and it competes and it succeeds and all that stuff. So very masculine energy, very male energy. So, so that's Mars. That's Aries. That's like both Mars and Aries. So, and then we have so another thing about Aries is it loves to like fight, compete, and succeed and excel, and like it finds ways of winning whatever it takes, like whether it's cheating, whatever that is. Other thing is like Mars is very spiky. Mars is sharp. It's like those I'm not sure if you've seen them, but like if you imagine like sea urchins, the creatures that are like a ball with like big old spikes. That's basically what Mars is in your chart. It's like a sea urchin. It's like big and spiky, round. And so even when Mars likes you, it wants to give you a hug. You're like, no, no, no. Like that. That's why we call it a malefic, because it has all these spikes and it hurts, and it causes you to bleed, and it gives you all these problems. So so that's why Mars is malefic, because it causes pain and damage and all this stuff. It's the warrior. It is designed to kill and hurt, and doesn't care about it wants to accomplish its mission. It doesn't care about feelings or anything like that. So then we have Cancer. Now Cancer is completely opposite to Mars, which is why it is debilitated in Mars is debilitated in Cancer. That's just a fact. Cancer is motherly energy, loving energy, nurturing energy, caring energy. It's all about, nurturing, loving, things like that, like motherly energy. Swaddling, making sure you're comfortable and making sure that you feel loved and seen and heard and accepted and all that. It's, nourishment. It's making the baby feel safe. And Cancer in the fourth house. Cancer and the fourth house both have very similar energies because Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac pertaining to the fourth house. So those energies are very similar. Now, so Cancer is also about home. Cancer is also about real estate. Cancer is ruled by the moon and Jupiter. It is, expansion. Expanding your home, expanding your progeny, expanding your family line with children. It's also the moon, which is basically very watery, very about emotions, feelings, nurturing, comforting, loving, things like that. It's very much about family as well. And then we have Mars here. We have the warrior who is in the kitchen with the women, who is, cooking and cleaning, and he's goes from being this warrior to being the servant in the kitchen. Oh, do this, do that. No, you're cooking the soup wrong. You're burning it, You gotta. So what we can often see here is someone who loves butchering. So you can see like a profession of a butcher. So these are so conflicting energies. That's why Mars is debilitated in Cancer. But people with Mars in Cancer, here's a little secret. You can do very, very well with real estate and land. Real estate, buying, selling, improving your house, like landscaping, being a realtor, being like an interior designer, doing stuff with real estate that helps improve the value of it. And Mars excels at that. It's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be in the house of like domestication and all this, then I'm going to excel at this. I'm gonna turn it into a game, and I'm gonna be the one in charge of this. I'm gonna win it. So instead of just being the servant of the women in the kitchen, I'm gonna command them. I'm gonna find a way to take charge and manipulate and do things the way I want them to do. So Mars here is very cunning, very crafty, very manipulative. And he's wise, he's cunning, he, spies and listens to the women as they gossip and finds the best way to do things and things like that. you know. And so with this placement, you have you probably tend to have a lot of anger or resentment directed at your mother for one reason or the other. Now again, we have to look at where the moon is placed and where Jupiter is placed. Well, mainly the moon for the mother, because the moon is the mother. So, you know, if we have this placement, Mars in Cancer, look at where your moon is placed. Is your moon placed in a sign owned by Mars? If so, then that's going to breed extremely hostile, resentful, hateful nature towards the mother. Now, and that is, you know, if you would have asked me maybe 2-3 years ago, I would say, oh, that's because your mother is a horrible person. Just because I was, you know, projecting my own lived experience. But honestly, with these positions, your mother has done something to make you angry at her. Mars is one of the planets of trauma. Remember, it's a malefic. And so having a malefic planet in the 4th house, that tells me that your relationship with your mother, your home life, you know, your family is more 2nd house, but home life, mother is more 4th house. That tells me that you might have been like abused or traumatized somehow. And, you know, we gotta consider that, like, whatever that means to us. Abuse and trauma and neglect and all that stuff. And it could be on multiple levels. Physically, emotionally, mentally, psychically, spiritually, sexually, all those ways. Like, there could have been at least something where your mother was abusive or neglectful or, you know, violent or things like that. And so we can see that this misuse of this, like, it feels like you were used or like you were mistreated or abandoned or neglected or something like that. So this mistreatment by your mother is reflected in Aries, or in Mars in the 4th house. And the thing with this is that it causes, again, you're really going to have to look at where your moon is placed. I did a whole series on the moon through the houses for Aries Ascendant. Go look at that one, please. And see where your moon is placed. See, also when we're looking at the moon, please look at the phase of the moon that the moon was in when you were born. If it's a new moon, that means you're more prone to depression, mental illness, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, all that stuff. But the good news is, like, there's great treatments for that, even through psychology and things like that, but also through mantra, believe it or not. Mantra is actually one of the best healers for any kind of trauma, because it goes in and it reprograms the brain. Man is manaj, which means moon, which means mind, and it's not the thinking mind, the mathematical mind, it's the feeling mind in the heart center. So yeah, it's, mantras are basically a vehicle for the mind to heal itself and to recover and get better and feel better and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's, it's a great thing. No, also, and like, if you, so with mantras, you can do generic ones, like Om Namah Shivaya, you can do that. Or you can do things like Ganesha mantra, like Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Or even the Narasimha mantra, which rules Mars. Mars is Narasimha is the deity for Mars. Chanting the Mars Narasimha mantra is a great way to heal that Mars. So Narasimha mantra is Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namah. So it's Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. And I forget if there's no, I think it's just Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. So there's that. Look that up. But also you don't want to do a mantra that's going to hurt you even more. So I would suggest, if there's any malefics or debilitated planets, you really got to look at your chart, and you really need an expert to look at it and prescribe a mantra specifically for you and for your chart. And that's one of the things that I excel at with my Vedic astrology reading. So I would suggest getting a reading from me. Now, so as I said, Mars, getting back to Mars, it is your Lagnesha. Mars is your Lagnesha, meaning that Mars rules Aries, which is your Lagna in Vedic astrology. This is very important. This is why I teach Vedic astrology and not Western. Western is off by more than 24 degrees. Why would I use inaccurate calculations? It's just silly. And if you don't know anything about that, go look at my videos on the differences between Vedic and Western astrology. Now, Mars being your Lagnesha, this tells me that you have a past life karma or something to work out in this life. Maybe it's healing from the 4th house, from your mother. Some big thing, big part of your life, big portion of your life will be spent healing your 4th house, healing from the, childhood wounds, your mother, the things that your mother caused, and things like that. Healing Mars energy. Okay? Narasimha mantra. Again, huge mantra to help you heal. And so, yeah, that's just a huge part of your healing journey, is healing that resentment against your mother or against, the primary caretaker, against women, especially if you're a man, healing the, resentments and stuff against women, and things like that. So yeah, it's, it's really important that we do this deep work. So, what I would recommend, in addition to the mantra remedy, because that's only one part of this healing dynamic that you'll need, in addition to that, I would recommend going to a program like, whatever your addiction is, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Sex Addicts Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Weed Anonymous, Codependence Anonymous, especially. Whatever your vice is, whatever your addiction is, for fourth house, I would say definitely codependence. That fourth house especially affects like codependency. So go do that program. Go work those steps with a sponsor, especially the fourth and fifth step. Fourth step is your resentment inventory, writing down all the resentments against your mother, writing down what it affected, what your part was, and the exact nature of your wrongs. And that heals and shifts your mind into a new space. And it just very healing, very transformative. I had a lot of resistance to that when I did it, but it was very extremely helpful and healing for me. So in addition to this, I haven't even gotten through halfway through the video through my explanation of this planet. So in addition to all this, we have Mars aspecting certain placements. So if Mars is in your fourth house, it is aspecting the third placement from itself. It's aspecting the seventh placement from itself, and the eighth placement from itself. So, let me take a drink and I'll tell you what that means. Right. So the third placement from the fourth house is what? Fourth house, fifth house, sixth house. So Mars is aspecting your sixth house, which means sixth house is like the house of the, your fitness, your diet, your nutrition, your health, any like diseases, any things like that, illnesses, things like that. And it's like enemies, it's hidden enemies, and things like that. So Mars aspecting the sixth house means that all that resentment that you have for whatever it is, throughout your life. Built up resentments take energy. It's like storing a bunch of energy, a bunch of rage. Let's say you have a bunch of rage and you push it down, and that gets stored and locked into place where you can't let it out. And it's, you don't want to scare people, you don't want to hurt people, so you just bury that stuff into your stomach or whatever, and into your body. And the only way for that energy, remember again, it's energy, it's suppressed energy. So the only way for that energy to get out is through manifesting itself as illnesses in your body. Back pain, the inability to trust. That's what back pain is. It pertains to the kidneys, pertains to the water element. Heart problems. Mars is fire. Heart problems. Ability to, not balance, like not like when we have an excess of like rage and anger. Because the heart, what is the heart? It's all about love. But it's hot, it's fiery. You know? So when we have that imbalance, when we have more rage than we do love, that's, you know, that causes like heart attacks, stroke, you know, all kinds of things like that. And that's from that suppressed rage. So what does this have to do with sixth house? Well, as I told you, sixth house is about the health of the body. And so when you have Mars aspecting the sixth house, your health is going to be affected by your rage, by your anger, by your resentments, things like that. And then we have the seventh from itself. So Mars in the fourth house aspects the 10th house. And you have Capricorn in the 10th house. So while Mars is debilitated in the fourth house, you will see a great deal of good things happening in the 10th house because it aspects that. You know, so for example, you know, you might not want to be home all the time. You might want to distance yourself from your family. You might just want to go to work. And so with that, Mars looking at the 10th house, it's like, this is what I want to focus on. I want to achieve the greatest, like, heights imaginable in my career or in my, you know, I want to be the most respected person in the world, the, you know, most looked up to, the richest, the wealthiest, whatever. And so it gives you a lot of drive and ambition to, you know, to go towards the things that will bring you social status, respect, good positioning in the world, like people respect you, people know you, fame, fortune, things like that. And so, and then the eighth house, or sorry, the eighth aspect of Mars in the fourth house is the 11th house. So that, let's just say for hypothetical, your mother wasn't very loving with you. She didn't give you a lot of nurturing. She didn't give you a lot of love, self-esteem. She didn't embed that within you, that self-esteem, that self-love. And so you look for it in the 11th house. 11th house is money, symbolism of love, gains, income. And so you have a strong desire, strong drive for income, for, you know, wanting to be safe because you have money, wanting to be safe because you have a good job, you have resources. And that's exactly what the mother's love is. It's resources. You know, but now we're manifesting this as money. And so for the 11th house, how Mars affects that is, it might be like you might be in a rush, in a hurry to get that paycheck so that you can go out and spend it. It kind of burns through things. It kind of just burns through things and you know, So, yeah, you might get a bunch of money, but do you save it? Or do you burn through it? That's the thing. Because you can make like $500,000 a year, sure. But do you save that money? No. Do you go out and spend it? Yep. On needless things a lot of times. See, you're seeking fourth house things, but you're seeking it in material things, like going out and buying things, clothes, going out and buying whatever it is to fill that fourth house, that heart energy, that loving energy, that self-love, connectedness, self-esteem. You're trying to seek that out with respect from your profession, from your income, from your gains, and things like that. So it's and this has a severe impact on your health. So a lot of times we can see this like, this spiral of I gotta work and then I gotta buy the right clothes. I have to have the right look so I can be accepted and loved and everything like that. So I go shopping and all that. So this might be a big part of that. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely look at where your moon is placed as well, as I said, because that's a big indicator as well. So, yeah, I mean, a good way to calm the Mars energy is to focus on water. Mars is fire. So to balance that out, you focus on water, on trust. And I have a great qigong exercise for that. I was just doing it right there. I saw myself doing it. But it's basically you do the qigong, the waterfall, the standing or sitting waterfall, where you just take your hands. Oops, hold on. There you go. Take your hands, bring them from your waist up to your head and down, flat like that. Anyway, if you want to check out my qigong courses and all that good stuff, because that has a lot of good healing water energy for you. And Mars loves energy work, because it's working with this feminine energy, but it's also energy, so it has a good combination of like the yin and yang, the martial aspect, the discipline, the organization, the following instruction. Mars loves that stuff, but also this stuff is working with like feminine energy as well. So like working on things, on the energy that you feel in your hands and all that good stuff, and just the waterfall energy, that goes and flows through your body, cleanses it, nourishes it, helps it. So go do that as well. I probably need to make more videos on my qigong practices because they are pretty cool. Love them. So anyway, guys, I will end it there, even though we've gotten like 35 minutes, which is pretty crazy for this video. So, alright guys, well, you can check out my astrology stuff at gebotheshaman.com. I have astrology readings for sale, astrology courses for sale, as well as this stuff, my cosmic qigong and the self-transformation challenge. So check those out over at gebotheshaman.com, as well as 12-step codependency recovery program at patreon.com/gebotheshaman. And until then, till next time, we will see you then. Peace. Take care, guys. Have a good day.